Going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. We are finally down to the final film in the Hunger Games series with Mockingjay Part 2, and this has always been my least favorite film in the series, mostly because I felt like the first part could have been a 3-hour epic, and instead it got split into 2 parts, mostly because it would financially benefit the studios. And so now we got Mockingjay Part 2. We have Katniss taking down the Capitol in the final chapter, and quite frankly, watching it for the first time since I saw it in theaters, I mildly enjoyed it a little bit more, but it still is my least favorite in the series, mostly because it does feel like it's all just payoff to what we got set up in the first part, and some of the elements did not work for me as strongly as it did the first time around, mostly because even though I did enjoy a lot of the action set pieces in this film, that is something that I've always enjoyed when it came down to this film. Going into the latter half, where there are some tough choices that needed to be made, especially when it came down to the decision that President Coin was going to task Katniss with, there are redeeming qualities about this movie that I really enjoyed. However, I feel like the pacing for this movie was a little lackluster for me personally. There are a lot of heartbreaking elements in this movie that got me emotionally, especially when it came down to the death of Penrose. That is something that has always stuck with me. But really, the thing that holds this movie back from being really enjoyable is that while we get a lot of this payoff, once we go into the third act and mainly the last 30 minutes of the film, just felt like a generic YA type of ending, and that is something that has never really flowed with me as much as I wanted it to, and that is where the detriment for this film lied with me. While there are a lot of strong set pieces in this film, especially when it comes down to that middle act, I really enjoy the performances in this movie. I really enjoy that they were trying to wrap this up in a really nice bow. This movie is not awful. It was just a disappointing finale to something that I was really hoping would have a stronger payoff. But for me, it's never been one that has had that big of a payoff, especially when it comes down to the last 30 minutes of this film. But those are my thoughts on The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. Are you guys a big fan of this movie, or did this movie let you down? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys soon.